Scott with SJWellfire.com. Final Days Report, episode 246. In this VCast, we're going to cover the Beast system, some new information. We're going to cover how the U.S. government wants to own your thoughts. You cannot make this up. It actually was disclosed during a court case. Plus, the U.S. government is pushing cryptocurrency keys stored in your DNA. We did an old VCast about how Bitcoin keys can actually be stored in your DNA, the actual wallet, and they were mocking it. U.S. government is pushing 6G that is needed for biohacking you, for this artificial intelligence Skynet, right? The rise of robots, holograms. Folks, they are moving and moving fast. Last, we're going to talk about how this biotech AI system will be marketed to you. There are a lot of pretty interesting reasons why they're going to market it to you. One of them is health. Destroy your health, market. Hey, this artificial intelligence, CRISPR-Cas9, as the days of Noah, nanotech, cyborg solution is good for your health. You can just see the playbook. We'll demonstrate that. But the first article I want to cover, and this is from Natural News. This was disclosed during a court case. And here's their headline. U.S. government says it owns everyone's thoughts, calling it cognitive infrastructure. This is that bioeconomy that this ministry is warning about. Ultimately, you will be hooked up to the hive mind. You take what they call the smart mark or the mark of the beast, and they're jacking our food with this nanotech, with whatever they're dumping on us in our water, and obviously with the poison poke. They need excuses to poke you. They have nanotech, my friends, that is very, very, very minimal, but ultimately they're setting up the infrastructure to know your thoughts. Remember, Klaus Schwab will be able to do scans of your brain and know your thoughts when you go from country to country. And Noah Harari, that shill, basically said free will is dead. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. But I did a VCast maybe 2 years ago with an article about how Bitcoin wallet can be programmed in your DNA. And if you follow our ministry, we have proven through their own words, the government's own words, that they can add thoughts, take away thoughts, really mess with your DNA. DNA is a storage vehicle. And I think we've covered about 7 different ways they can biohack your brain for mind controlism, with synthetics, with fungus, with organoid computers, with nanotech. I mean, the list goes on and on. This is a mind controlism, end of days, beast system tied into artificial intelligence. But this gets wild. And this is from NextGov. Cryptocurrency passwords can now be stored in DNA. I bet you they've known this forever. And you think about central bank digital currency, and you need to think about Microsoft's 060606 patent that we always cover, 666. Folks, you're the human resource. You're going to be the mind-controlled slave within the Circ class system that they want after they cull everybody. And it gets more interesting. Same publication, NextGov. Government mouthpiece. While you're probably getting a microchip implant someday, you can't make this up. This is recent as well. Microchip implants are going from tech geek novelty to genuine health tool, and you might be running out of good reasons to say no. No, no, no. And again, I think they have the capability with mini microchips. We've proven that with some of the health tools where they actually inject something and your brain becomes implemented with nano wires. Just pray, whenever you eat and drink something, pray that anything that's wicked has no impact on you. But let's continue reading from this article because they rip on Christians. Meanwhile, some fundamentalist Christians, we're always called fundamentalists if you believe in the Bible, if you believe that we did not come from rock poop, if you believe the cover-up with articles in the Library of Congress that the Smithsonian covered up the giants. Giants are in the Bible. We just did a podcast, maybe 2 or 3 podcasts ago about the Great Flood. Joe Rogan had scientists on talking about the overwhelming evidence of Noah's flood. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, my friends. We're not told the truth. NASA lies, all of it. Let's continue. Meanwhile, some fundamentalist Christian communities remain convinced that the microchip implant is the manifestation of biblical portended mark of the beast. But the primary challenge to RFID implants remains the simple underlying question posed over and over again in response to the tech. Is it really necessary? Well, it'll be necessary for you to partake in the system. Think vaccine passports. Don't have your proper papers, you can't move. Think of this Internet of Things and driverless cars. You won't be able to go from A to Z Folks, we need to get simple. We need to get simple fast, including myself. It's going to be an interesting time. This beast will make war with the saints and overcome them. Part of this is you just won't be able to participate. We're going to have to learn how to become, good barterers, right? All right, let's continue. This push for 6G, this bioeconomy is over the top. U.S. begins planning for 6G wireless communications. This is from the Wall Street Journal. And when you dive deep into 6G, as I talked about in the introduction, it's pretty wild. It almost seems like they need this leap forward in order to bring in this beast system by 2030 that they're talking about. Nokia has described 6G as nothing less than a technology that will allow a world where a digital, physical, and human world will seamlessly fuse. So this is that artificial intelligence omnipresent system. 6G is not just 5G plus. Former Federal Communication Commission FCC Chairman Tom Wheeler told Yahoo Finance 6G will facilitate more than just better use of your smartphone. Yeah, because you're going to be the smartphone, my friends. This is a technology that will be needed for this transhumanism playbook. I wonder if this is a smokescreen because 5G seems pretty powerful. And what's funny with 5G, I've talked to a lot of people with 5G phones. They don't seem to think it performs any better. And there was an article I read that said 5G, it's admitted by the Davos World Economic Forum, Trilateral Commission, one of those shills, Bilderberg Group, who knows, there's so many of them to keep track of. They said 5G was needed for smart cities, for these enslavement cities, my friends. Let's continue on 6G, some of the benefits and this brainwashing. Anything that you use a network connection for right now will be greatly improved on a 6G network, really. Literally every single improvement that 5G brings will manifest as even faster enhanced version on the 6G network. I don't see any speed, as I mentioned earlier, with 5G. We're already destined to have more powerful VR and AR systems. See, this is that meta. They're going to promise you that you can live forever, my friends. They're talking about robotics, working in factories, autonomous cars. This is what is needed for 6G. But let's continue. It really goes on to this human and machine interface where biology meets AI. This is that biohack economy, that bioeconomy. That's you. And again, Microsoft's 0606 patent. They're telling you that you're going to be hooked up to this hive mind, my friends. Here's somebody from Japanese phone operator NTT Docomo predicts 6G will enable the sophistication of cyber physical fusion. That sounds like you lose your free will. Can you imagine being hooked up to Google and know everything Google knows? And think of the censorship. Google will tell you what Google wants you to know, which that the document claims will be required in the 2030s. This will, according to them, make it possible for cyberspace to support human thought and action in real time through wearable devices and micro devices mounted on the human body. Creepy. Possible for cyberspace to support human thought. Oh, unbelievable. And then many people have covered this. AI company says it will perform a seance on your dead loved ones. So you'll be able to bring back dead loved ones. And ultimately, they're going to promise you that you can live forever in meta, upload your consciousness. Now, let's talk about how they're going to bring in this technology. We've covered this before. A guy had dementia and they wired his brain with nanotech and they had this little device and the computer could track and communicate two-way. So if you can communicate out, the system can communicate in. That's the danger. That's the danger. And of course, I know two people that are paralyzed. And this technology that I'm going to show you where this man can walk by hooking up a Bluetooth computer to his brain. I read a bunch of articles about this. They can communicate in. So if somebody's nefarious and wicked, can they communicate and implant thoughts? Because we've already proven, we've already done a VCast, how they can actually provide thoughts to you. So I'm just saying, let's say you're paralyzed and you can walk, but what if they all of a sudden start doing mind controls and technology on you? I mean, it's just an interesting question. Of course, I'm happy this guy can walk, but you're going to start to slowly see this technology for minor miracles to then all of a sudden slight imperfections. We're going to talk next about how they're going to sell you with artificial intelligence. Let me get myself off the screen and let's play this quick video because I'm happy for this guy and you can see he's excited, but what else can happen here? That's the question I pose. Let's roll it.
A man paralyzed for 12 years can walk again thanks to Bluetooth technology. Surgeons used an implant to reestablish a connection between his spinal cord and brain.
We do two different surgeries. There is one surgery at the level of the brain. We do two little craniotomy, put electrodes in order to record the brain signal. And another surgery at the level of the spinal cord where we put electrodes on the top of the spinal cord at the place that is responsible for leg movement. So between these two, there is communication, an electrical communication, a digital bridge that is then reactivated the legs.
The wireless connection allowed the patient to move again.
Within 5 to 10 minutes, I could control my hips, like they were like the brain implant picked up what I was doing with my hips, so that was like the best outcome, I think, for everyone.
So you need to think about this. If artificial intelligence goes rogue and wants to destroy humanity, wants to destroy your soul, and this guy can walk all of a sudden, but it's a Bluetooth technology, and you could see how people had computers and they were tying into mapping his brain. I mean, you can see he's excited walking, but is it worth to be able to walk if all of a sudden you lose your soul? Let's talk about this in terms of how they're going to sell this mind controlism, artificial intelligence technology, because I go in and do a lot of research and I see the youth loving the opportunity to hook up to this hive mind, to have a high IQ. They'll be able to make so much money. It's just interesting. The Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. Let's check it out. What they're going to do is they're going to promise you an extended lifespan, obviously enhanced cognitive abilities. I've heard, 1,000, 2,000 point IQ hooking up to this Google type system. You'll be able to speak multiple languages on the fly, improved health and well-being. Part of me thinks when the Antichrist comes on the scene, we talk about this often of the black. We're seeing all this evil, and then there'll be Lucifer will be the light bearer. The Antichrist will say, hey, we need to destroy the Illuminati. We need to destroy the great whore as the Bible talks about. And we have all these promises. Take the smart mark to heal yourself from the damage from the poison poke and to heal yourself from all the train derailments and the destruction of the food. And we have all these solutions over here. You can just see how this is going to be played out. After SEAL 4 and World War III, there'll be peace. But you need to be part of this global citizen. All right, let's continue. Augmented senses and abilities. Transhumanism explores the possibilities of augmenting human senses and physical abilities. You can see it, my friends. Designer babies and genetic enhancements. Want to be 6'2", blonde hair, blue eyes. You want to be able to see for a long, long way. Think tattoos and accessories on a car. We've been programmed for accessories. I can just see it, my friends. And then there's the whole med bed, this advanced healthcare. If it says the word quantum by it, quantum to me is the satanic beast system for rapid healing. Is this gene defilement? Is this as the days of Noah? That's the question I had before I'd ever step foot into a med bed, my friends. Let's continue. Telecommunication and mind-machine interface. And again, that's probably goes into the intelligence part of this, but I've seen some videos where they said you'll be able to know people's thoughts and communicate without even saying a word. That sounds like hell to me. Virtual reality and augmented reality. They want you in pods, my friends. This creativity and artistic expression, being able to really do some amazing things. I've actually seen some artwork from AI that is unbelievable. I used to be a director of marketing for a fine art company years ago. And I've seen some amazing artists. And some of the AI, I think, blows some of these amazing artists away, and they do it in 5 seconds. This I thought was funny from my flat earth friends and friends that talk about the firmament. Exploration of space and colonization was another opportunity to hook up to this artificial cyborg type system. Cyborgization, human machine integration, again, just man machine, you see it. But again, I am a firm believer, if you check out our first book, Seal When It's Open, that primes the fourth beast system that is iron, graphene oxide mixed in clay U, this whole transhumanism, biohack, bioeconomy system, right? I just read their tech journals. I just read the articles, and that's what it is. They want to be omnipresent like God. The Antichrist will have a fake resurrection into this quantum computer AI system. In Revelation 13, 1-6, I was nudged by this word tabernacle, so I started doing some deep research. I think this verse here talks about transhumanism. And let's read. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his 10 crowns and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. Some scholars think this is Germany, Russia, United States, that then gets subdued by the 10 kings. I think the 10 kings might be tech companies, and then they form this one world government. It's a fascinating study. The dragon gave him his power, the Antichrist, and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of the heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and the world wondered after the beast. So I think this will be the Antichrist getting hit with the spear of destiny. This is from a dream from 2008, and they put his head within this dream on some sort of quantum computer. He showed up as a hologram around the world. People went into a booth and came out as mind-controlled zombies. And I probably had 3 or 4 mind-control dreams since then. And I'm telling you, Operation Crimson Mist, this technology has been around for a while. When you check that podcast out that we did. Let's continue. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, thinking AI, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, via probably a hologram. And a power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened up his mouth and blasphemed against God, to blaspheme his name. And this is key, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven, his tabernacle. So I was nudged to go deeper on tabernacle, because I think the abomination of desolation is defiling you. May there be a third temple in Israel? Sure, but will it be holy? Because it's not for Jesus Christ. There's a new covenant. Even if they break out the Ark of the Covenant and put it in there, is it holy? Because again, there's a new covenant. But Jesus, if you're a Christian, you are the temple of God. Don't defile the temple of God. So this has to do with the seed war, genetic war, as the days of Noah, defiling and biohacking you. So tabernacle. In the Old Testament, the Hebrew word for tabernacle is Mishkan, I might be pronouncing that wrong, which refers to a portable tent or sanctuary. It is a central place of worship and the dwelling place of God among the Israelites during their journey in the wilderness. The tabernacle served as a symbol of God's presence and a place for offering sacrifices and conducting religious ceremonies. In the New Testament, the Greek word for tabernacle is skane. It is used metaphorically to refer to the human body or physical dwelling place of a person. For example, in John 1:14, Jesus is described as the Word who was made flesh, dwelt among us, where dwelt can be translated as tabernacled or pitched his tent. Blaspheme his tabernacle. It's interesting, my friends. Just another example of this biohacking you. So Scott with SJ Wellfire, my friends, preparation is biblical. And again, we launched an Of God t-shirt, which I've been actually wearing around. If somebody actually comes up to me, I say, look, man, I'm a child of God, and it gives you an opportunity to open up the door to have a conversation, hopefully save souls. And again, our ebook that we've already talked about, and make sure you bookmark our site and sign up for our VCast alerts. I send them out probably once a week. I've been a little bit behind the last couple of weeks. I moved my son into a new apartment. I tell you, I am sore. I'm no longer a spring chicken, but it's a good feeling being sore and doing some physical work. So get outside, plant a garden, my friends. And if you don't have land, look to grill a garden, look to forage, get simple. And thank you for your prayers. And if you need prayers, send me an email at scott@sjwellfire.com. And I'll do some praying for you. Have a blessed day.